Hey there, good morning fiddle players. Thanks for coming back to fiddleandmike.com. This week's lesson, you're going to learn a great Appalachian old-timey fiddle tune called Goodbye Girls, Goin to Boston. This is in response to a request from one of the students. So I just want to remind you, if any of you other students have any tune requests, be sure to send me a comment or an email, and I'll be sure to try and fit that in to one of my future lessons. You know, this was requested only a couple weeks ago, so I try and have a pretty good turnaround with these things. This tune is Appalachian old-timey, and it's also cross-tuned. And if you watched Candy Girl, which is one of the previous lessons, I had my brother, a great old-timey fiddler, come in and teach this great old-timey tune called Candy Girl, and it's cross-tuned in open A tuning. And that's what we're going to do for this tune. So I have two things I want to point out before we actually get into the tune. First is the tuning is different. It's an open A, meaning that it's A, low to high, A, E, A, E. Okay, so your top two strings you leave the same, E, A, and then, but as you go down, your D string is tuned up a whole step to an E. So it's the same as that open E, just an octave lower. And then your low G is tuned up a whole step to an A note. Alright, so that puts it in open A tuning, and you have great drones to do. So this will be a really fun tune for you to learn. The second thing I want to point out before we get into the tune is the sheet music. Now, as you all know, if you're subscribed to fiddleandmike.com, you can get the sheet music. And usually I have for fiddle tunes, I have the notation and standard notation. And I've also started putting it up in tabs as a separate sheet. So you can, if you don't read standard notation, you can also look at the tabs, and that tells you the fingerings on the string that it's played on. This time I have the standard notation and the tabs in the same document. So I have a line of sheet music, standard notation, and then the line of tab right under it that goes with it. That's because reading standard notation in cross-tuning is different. It's awkward. It's not the same because, you know, when you learn standard notation, you go, okay, this line is your D string. But now, because you tuned up your D string to an E, it's not going to read the same. So I've included all the fingerings along with the notes that are notated in standard notation, but I also have the tab underneath, which is just the fingering on the string you're playing. Okay, so I want to make sure you guys are all on the same page and you're able to read that sheet music. All right, so here we go. Goodbye Girls, Goin to Boston. 2, 3, 4.
Okay, now let's look at the important features of this tune. As you probably noticed, there's a lot of drones. That's the whole point.
Sun goes with his time.